Hello, listeners. Welcome to my startup podcast. Today's podcast is for all those who like to crunch data and make sense of number and statistics. I have with me someone who is an expert at data crunching, and she has just published a book on how to make sense of data. Hello, everybody. I am Zenia Khan, your host for today, and I am excited to bring in my guest, Abirami Sukumaran, who is a lead developer advocate at Google and now a published author. She also leads the non-profit program Code Vipassana, which trains budding talent on data to AI journey. Welcome, Abirami, to the show.
Hi, Zenia. Thanks a lot for the great introduction.
So to start off, could you please provide a brief background about your experience in the field of database design and modeling?
I have over 17 years of experience in the areas of databases, data management, analytics across industries, both in application development and leadership, with a few patents filed in the data management and data science areas. I think that databases are the best thing since sliced bread, and I think I've written about it in a lot of places, and I keep reading it whenever I can. I'm just so closely associated to databases in terms of just the amount of time I've spent with it. So I'm just a huge fan. And I've always been in and around that particular area. So I would say it dated back to my college days, or even before that, like in my higher secondary. That's when I started knowing and understanding databases, or where is data getting. We are dealing with data on a day-to-day basis. Where is it all getting stored? How to make sense of it? Storage and processing was the main thing that I used to think about when I started my career in software. That is a little bit of a background. And my connection with databases. And design and modeling comes with it because at the time I started with databases, structured databases and relational database was a big thing back then. And I, of course, like everybody else, I started with structured data. I started with relational databases. So designing databases in a way that the applications and the businesses demand, that has been my main, that is my starting point with databases. So that's where I began building good databases and designing and modeling it for the use cases and making it efficient, optimizing it, normalization and denormalization. So those were the foundational points for me and my background with databases to begin with.
What motivated you to write this book, and what do you hope readers will gain from it?
Main motivation behind the book was the fact that I felt now more than ever is the need for designing right databases that match not just the business requirement, but also are relevant to the times and the types and styles of data that we are dealing with. We tend to take databases lightly because everything else has become more important, because we need to roll out the application in a jiffy, and all we have left is like a few minutes of focus or a few days of focus when it comes to designing databases. So I felt if there is a consolidated place that can bring together all the considerations from a business, technology and design standpoint, in addition to talking about some of the options in a hands-on approach or a practical approach to bring all the best practices together across all varieties of databases or data, is more important now than before, because of just the sheer varieties in the data that we have at this point in time. So that was the main motivation. I felt like there is a need for developers and upcoming practitioners in the data area to understand the importance of designing right databases. And also I felt like with someone who has so much interest in database, and everyone's focus is shifting to not shifting, but it is always, ML has always been an interesting area for a lot of folks, even from the application development background or any other background for that matter, DevOps or business. Everyone talks about analytics and ML, but how important it is to store and manage and process your data in order to make the best out of your ML analytics and artificial intelligence investment. So that thought motivated me more than ever. So I wanted to bring that to the forefront. And also I was working on something very related to that topic mid last year at my as part of my role as well. So that encouraged me to take this further. And at the same time, the right publisher reached out to me saying that, hey, this is a great idea, what you're doing. Do you envision writing about it as a book rather than just talking about it one off. Why don't you just consolidate your thoughts? So it all came together, and I think those three things motivated me the most.
How does the book approach the challenges and opportunities associated with handling semi-structured and unstructured data?
Challenges, of course, the fact that the variety and the I wouldn't say volume has always been there. Now it's increasing more than ever for sure, but the variety and the type and structure differences in the data sources and the data that is involved in any business use case, we have a lot of variety now, in the sense, right? In that sense, we have a lot of variety, and the challenge stems from the fact that organizations don't know how to make sense of all these data or how to manage them. How would you ensure data quality? How would you ensure you're able to bring the right relevance and the right outcomes that the business wants from the data or from the application that you intend to build, right? So that is a one main challenge, and definitely that is called out in the book as well, with real time examples and with a practical approach to, let's say it takes a particular domain and it takes a particular use case where you'll build and model a database, build some tables, and come up with in a relational format, come up with queries in a semi-structured and unstructured format. The book talks about how will you go about storing and processing and managing this particular data set, hands-on approach with steps, and it takes one particular example from Google Cloud for each category. Each chapter we have one hands-on experience for sure. One main challenge that I mentioned right now, how organizations make sense of the different varieties, that is also called out, and you also have some real-time examples and real-time pain points for businesses and industries before the advent of all these databases that I've addressed in the book.
And how do you think both beginners and experienced professionals benefit from this content?
If you are a database developer, you would find more relevance to your day-to-day activities. And if you are a data engineer, you also have some chapters that are exclusively addressing some ETL aspects of your data lifecycle. And if you're an analytics like BI developer, or if you're in the business side who is doing analytics, a sales analyst or a data scientist in the finance team or the marketing team, marketing operations team, they have a lot to get out of this book, because there are chapters that are dedicated to analytics, chapters dedicated to ML, AI, generative AI, and it also talks about database design for all these applications. And there are chapters that are dedicated exclusively to database design with a hands-on approach for each and every format of data that we spoke about just now: structured, semi-structured, unstructured, and the rest of the components in the life cycle. So data scientists, analysts, and engineers are the ones who would make the most out of it. But when you also asked about how will it be relevant to both experienced and beginners, since every single exercise that we have covered, like hands-on exercise that we have covered in each of the chapter in the book, so I have made sure that it starts from the scratch. So if you're a beginner, you're an absolute beginner, you will learn a new database, for example. Or if you're an experienced practitioner who has already dealt with you already know how relational databases work or how semi-structured databases work, you will probably end up learning a new database which you have not heard of before or which you have not used before. Or you will also put that to practice as an experienced developer, and there are some use cases that you can solve. There are some open questions for you to answer, and there are open challenges that you can address and contribute to the code repository. So there are so many things for everyone to take away from, is what I feel.
Based on your experience and the content of the book, what are some challenges that data professionals face in database design, and how does the book address them?
My most common challenge that I feel the data professionals face is the fact that database design is not given enough time in the entire product life cycle, is what I feel. Particularly from a startup perspective, companies or organizations that are established and have been around, they have a different type of challenge. They spend probably enough time in designing and coming up with the database that they want or the design that they want, but they are not spending enough time keeping it up to date. Like, what is new and what's changing? Are we empowered with everything that is possibly capable of delivering from the data that we have so far, or from the design that we have so far? Are we using it to its fullest potential? So that is something that needs to be reassessed probably every half year or every quarter, or as often as it needs in some cases. But the startups per se, I would feel like they are so in a hurry, and I wouldn't say hurry, but there's also a timeline that comes with taking the idea to a product, right? So they are focused mainly on delivering it, and the focus is mainly on the experience, which is equally important. I don't want to underestimate the importance of user experience or anything that is part of the product, but database design is also equally important, and I feel that there is not enough time spent on, are we choosing the right option? It should not be chosen just because we have talent, and of course that is also one of the considerations, but is that the only criteria? Is it no, or we have people who know a certain database, or does it really we have, or is there anything else in the market today that will address my needs in a better way, or in a cost efficient way, or in a performance optimized way? So there are so many factors that need to be considered, and I don't think developers are given the opportunity and the time to explore all those things. I think the design phase should be that exhaustive and that detailed that all of these things are vetted. If that is the case, then the developers and the database engineers will be at a much better shape throughout the life cycle of the product, rather than things being changed overnight or in 6 months since the product is just and stuff like that. So that is something that I would think is a common challenge.
Do you see the intersection of databases and AI evolving in the coming years?
It is already intersected, right? Like AI. So we are using AI, or we are building applications with AI, or that deliver AI, or whatever it is, right? We are building applications that make use of data. And the data that we are using has to be stored and processed. Even if it is not stored by one user or one application, it is stored somewhere. So yeah, database and AI definitely have significant overlap, and it will continue to grow. It will continue to evolve. Database is there to stay.
You are a passionate practitioner of yoga, and the book showcases data points around yoga. Could you throw some light around it, and how does it benefit other yoga gurus?
Bringing that topic up, it's a topic that's very close to my heart. Just like databases, I'm also not as much, but still, yoga is very close to my heart. I think it's a way of life, and I'm passionate about it to a certain extent. Every use case that I think of, that is the first. There are certain things that I continue to think. There is a theme of the things that I think when it comes to use cases, and I think yoga is a part and parcel of my thought process. And anything new or anything that I want to showcase, or any application that I want to build, if it involves a real world scenario, if it involves AI, the first use case that I go to, or the first thing that I think about, and as an activity, is yoga. I can't think beyond it, or that's the first thing that comes to my mind. So yes, the book also has some use cases where yoga is being showcased, and it also has a tiny picture of me in one of the chapters. I wanted to showcase a picture as to how the data is stored and retrieved and how it's processed. Does it benefit other yoga gurus? Yes, if they are at the intersection of technology and practice, then why not? Obviously they'll find it interesting, because I have used quite a few yoga examples as use cases in the book. And also I think, if you think about it, a lot of the things, or a lot of unstructured, when it comes to unstructured data, or tapping into human motion or videos and other things, yoga would be the first use case that comes to a lot of people's mind. Just like any other physical activity, if there is somebody who's interested in sports, they'll probably think about football or cricket poses. I think about those two, but only after yoga. But why not? It'll definitely interest yoga gurus if they are at the intersection of technology and practice.
You are also the founder of Code Vipassana, a non-profit program, and your share proceedings of the books are also going to charity. Could you tell us about what inspired you to do this, and why you believe that charity is important in a society?
So, two things to unpack your question. You spoke about Code Vipassana, and you also spoke about the book's proceeds, the proceeds from the book. My share of the proceeds from the book go to charity. Yes, Code Vipassana is a non-profit program. It is supported by, of course, Google. It's a program that started in Google. I started it as part of an initiative in Google, which is a pilot season for Code Vipassana, and developers just loved it. They loved the idea of being able to complete applications, use cases that are related to the real world, that they can associate with and that they can be really interested in. They liked building and delivering use cases like that, and get to learn modern technology like technologies and services in Google Cloud, which are cutting edge. That really engaged the developers and got them hooked on to Code Vipassana season after season, and we have some engaged developers who have been present in almost all the seasons. We have completed 4 seasons so far, and the last season was focused entirely. Season 4 was focused on generative AI, and the theme of the season is data to generative AI. And we had about 9,000 developers engaged in 15,000 plus code labs just in one season, that is season 4. So that's one thing I just wanted to call out. If developers are interested in participating and learning technology in the taking the journey of data to AI with Google Cloud, then they're more than welcome to join this free, almost always virtual, hands-on application development program, which is called Code Vipassana. Sometimes we do in-person sessions as well, based on the demand. I work closely with GDG Cloud Kochi and GDG Cloud Chennai and GDG Cloud Mumbai. Whenever there is ask, I'll do some hands-on sessions as well. But mostly, this is virtual sessions. These are virtual sessions, and we have other Googlers supporting as well. They train this participants from time to time, and also we have some volunteer leads, 15 plus, who go above and beyond to engage with the developers and to get trained, and they're also interested to learn and contribute, right? So they're also associated with it. And if they're interested to participate, just go to codevipassana.dev. It's CODEVIPASSANA.dev. So all updates are made available there. And regarding the books, proceeds going to charity, I should tell you that Google just ingrains that idea in your mind that you think about society a lot. And I'm, even though I have done that on my own previously, this is a reminder that Google always provides, that you think about you're making informed decisions and you're sensible about what you're doing. And the cause that I've picked is something that's very close to my heart. It's called Child Relief and You, CRY organization. So I've worked with one of the leads from CRY, based in Bangalore, and they have agreed to be the partner who receives my share of the proceeds from the book, along with Pact. So Pact is a publisher, and they've been supportive throughout the book drafting and publishing process, and they agreed to do this thing with Child Relief and You. So this child relief and child betterment is always a cause that's very close to my heart. And I picked them because I know that this is something that will make me happy. The book is soulful. It has 3 things that are very close to my heart, I would say. I would just repeat that because I don't know any other adjective or any better way to put it. So these are close to my heart. Databases and the journey of data to AI. Databases and the journey of data to AI is number 1. And number 2 is the fact that the proceeds go to charity. That is number 2. And number 3 is that the book itself, writing the book and giving it a shape itself. So these are 3 things and 3 reasons why the book is so close to my heart.
Well, that was it. Thank you so much, Abirami, for your time.